The following program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.
Good afternoon, Nashua. This is Chatting with Jocelyn. And today my guest is Jana El-Sayed. Welcome, Jana.
Thank you.
She is Miss Kingston and is a representative for the Miss New Hampshire Scholarship Program. And I understand that you have very, very exciting news for us. So I'm going to start off first with April is Child Abuse Month.
Yes.
And coincidentally, your social impact statement is the butterfly effect, and it talks about children specifically, and you have some really exciting news to tell us about. So welcome, and thank you for coming on the show.
Excited to be here.
Good. So tell me a little bit about, number one, tell me about the Miss New Hampshire Scholarship Program and how it's benefited you, and how you think it helps girls in general.
Sure. So I've been competing in the Miss New Hampshire and Miss New Hampshire's Outstanding Teen program since I was a junior in high school, and I actually am graduating from college this week.
Oh, congratulations.
I'm very excited about that, and thankfully I'll be graduating debt-free due to the scholarship funds that I have earned through competing in this program.
That is amazing. I think I heard you, well, actually all the ladies were up on stage and explaining to the audience how much money they had actually accumulated, and it is phenomenal. So to be able to graduate debt-free from college is amazing, and you know, kudos to Miss New Hampshire and to you for sticking to it and being able to do this. It's awesome. So the other thing, you also are the Miss New Hampshire program fundraises for CMN, and that stands for Children's Miracle Network. Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. So Children's Miracle Network is the national platform for the Miss America organization. So Miss America is the national ambassador for Children's Miracle Network hospitals. At a state level, Miss New Hampshire is our state representative, but as local title holders, we also represent and are ambassadors for the program as well. New Hampshire doesn't have a Children's Miracle Network hospital within our state, but the closest one is Boston Children's Hospital. Boston Children's Hospital happened to save my life 22 years ago, so I have a really personal connection and a love for our national platform.
I know, I've heard that story many times, but our audience has not, so I'd really like you to be able to just go a little bit into the story and how they saved your life, how it affected you, but mostly, the most important is how strong it made you.
Sure. I was born with persistent pulmonary hypertension and meconium aspiration, so some big jargon, medical terms, but essentially I had really weak lungs. I was actually airlifted to Chad, and Chad did not have the necessary equipment or ability to save my life. So from there, they released me, and I was ambulanced to Boston Children's Hospital.
Wow.
When I arrived at Boston Children's Hospital, I went code blue. My mom always says it was like I knew I was finally in the right place and that they were going to be able to take care of me so I could finally let go, because I was really fighting. They gave my mom a 20% chance of survival if she decided to put me on ECMO, which is an acronym for extracorporeal membrane oxygenation. It was pretty much a ventilator that did all the work for my body, for my heart and my lungs, outside of my body, giving me time to rest and heal and get stronger.
Wow, that is amazing. And you are here today, proof that it's a wonderful hospital, an extraordinary procedure, and look at what it's done for you today. It's amazing. It really is.
It's great to be able to go into hospitals now as a local title holder and explain to the children that I've been there. A big thing with children is they don't understand what's going on, and they don't understand how just because something bad is happening to them right now, or they don't feel well right now, that it's not going to impact them for the rest of their life. They're still going to be able to have a beautiful life in a lot of cases. So for example, for me, I have a hip deformity, and I also have a destroyed carotid artery.
Okay.
So when I was growing up, I wasn't able to be a cheerleader. I wasn't able to be a dancer because I didn't have flexibility or the proper range of motion due to my hip deformity. So growing up as a child, going to doctor appointment after doctor appointment, it's really hard not to fit in with the other kids or to be able to run as fast as the other kids can at recess. So as a local title holder now, I go into the hospitals and talk to the children, and I explain to them, there may be some things that you might not be able to do, but you're going to find your passion. You're going to find something that you're amazing at and that you're special at, and that's going to be a beautiful thing. For me, it ended up being singing.
Awesome. I thought somewhere in the story you did basketball.
I did.
I remembered hearing that.
I started playing basketball in 2nd grade, and I played up until high school. I played for AAU teams. We actually won a state championship. I was called Janimal because I was the best rebounder. So
nice.
I had physical therapy for most of my childhood, and then to be able to go and play basketball, it was a great thing to be able to do because I felt like I fit in with the other girls, and I just loved getting active and doing it.
Exactly, and feeling as one of the team,
yes,
and not always being on the outside looking in. I know that feeling. So how did you then transition into singing? How did that come about?
Well, one day I just went up to my mom, and it was funny because she looked at me kind of like she knew what was coming, and she ended up telling me afterward. She had been to a famous psychic and medium, and she had gotten told that if your daughter comes up to you and says she wants to either play an instrument or sing or something along those lines, you need to say yes. And I had never really talked about it. Sure, I sang in the shower. Yeah, I loved music, but I had never really shown a big interest in taking it to the next level and taking vocal lessons. A few weeks later, I went up to my mom and said, "Mom, I really want to sing." And she was taken aback. And she's like, "Whoa, okay." So we found a vocal teacher. I've been going to Michelle Henderson for years and years. She was in Hudson, and she really got me involved in performing. And from there, I started doing musicals, choir at school, and I was playing basketball and doing a lot of music. Unfortunately, I suffered from several concussions because I was 5'2" when I was playing center, and I was playing forward against these girls that were a lot taller than me, and I was aggressive back, so sometimes I did end up with a concussion. So it was kind of that decision that I'm going to step away from basketball and I'm going to focus on my other passion, which ended up bringing me to the Miss New Hampshire Scholarship Program.
Wow, what a story to go just full circle and look at where you are now today. That's amazing. So we have the Miss New Hampshire Scholarship Program coming up at the end of April. It's the April vacation,
yes,
and it's
Thursday,
Friday, Saturday. And do you know what days you're competing on yet?
So there's 2 preliminaries on Thursday and Friday. Those tickets are $15. On Thursday, I will be competing in my social impact and evening gown, and I will be competing in onstage question. And then on Friday, I will be doing my talent. And then the girls switch, so there's a group A and group B. So you see everyone do everything if you go both preliminary nights. And then on Saturday, it's super exciting. We drop down to a top 12, and it's nerve-wracking, but it's a lot of fun.
That's the nerve-wracking part. Your mom and I usually are like,
yes. So the top 12 will then compete in their onstage question and talent, and then they're going to break it down to an 8. And the 8 will do evening gown with impact statement, and then they break it down to 5. And then the 5 will tell the audience and the viewers on the live stream why they want to be Miss New Hampshire. And then the judges do their work, and we'll have a new Miss New Hampshire.
Oh, this is so exciting, and it's so close. It is so close. Am I allowed to ask, what are you singing this year?
Sure, it's already been announced.
Okay.
I'm singing Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Oh, yay! And last year you sang?
You Raised Me Up, but last year I had viral laryngitis, so
I know.
Anything could be better than last year.
And that was the year that I was stuck in Kansas, and I couldn't get back. They had canceled flights, so it was very aggravating. So you talk about the social impact, and I know a lot about what you've done, and we've talked many times, but I'd like you to share with the audience hashtag Jana for Kids and the butterfly effect. What is that, and how does it tie in to the Children's Abuse Month?
Sure. So I wanted to work with children. I've always had a passion for working with children. I've done a lot with hospitalized children, but this year I felt the need to do more. I really wanted to make an impact on New Hampshire's youth. So I came up with the idea, hashtag Jana for Kids, the butterfly effect, to be able to branch out and help more children. It's just started kind of slow, and I started contacting different nonprofits. I partnered with CASA New Hampshire, with the Granite State Children's Alliance. I'm a regular volunteer at Girls Inc., along with the hospital. So everything really started to come together. When I was researching, I realized that New Hampshire had a huge issue with child abuse that was being swept under the rug. And that's when I decided that I needed to make a proclamation, because I wanted New Hampshire residents to know about it and to be aware of it so that we could help prevent and take care of the issue we have at hand.
And this proclamation does what?
So it is Child Abuse Prevention Month. So nationally, April is known as Child Abuse Prevention Month, and you would probably hear a lot about it on your social media accounts, but New Hampshire hadn't officially made it a thing. So I contacted the governor, I filled out the necessary paperwork,
and voila.
and now we have a proclamation.
Yay! It's awesome. And the really unique thing about this proclamation is it's not a day, it's not 2 days, it's not a week, it's an entire month.
We're giving it what it deserves. Child abuse is so prevalent in New Hampshire, along with the opioid epidemic. You have to think about it. A lot of these people suffering with the opioid epidemic have children, and then these children are falling victim to neglect and child abuse, which has raised our numbers. In the state of New Hampshire this year alone, it's projected to have over 20,000 reports of child abuse.
And from what I understand, our DCYF. You have to remember what state I'm in. DCYF have multiple families that they're checking in on every week. Definitely overworked. There's a need for technology. There's a need for more people trained in this. Can you talk a little bit about that and what you've learned?
Of course. So nationally, every DCYF caseworker should only have 12 cases, so 12 families. And that's a lot. So think about it, checking on 12 different families throughout the week. In New Hampshire, it is up to 32 cases per week.
Each?
Yes, for each individual. But that's actually an improvement in comparison to what we had. We have a new director for New Hampshire's DCYF program, and he really is fighting for these children and for what's in the best interest of them, because before we had 60 cases per caseworker.
So obviously there was not enough time and energy to go around for every one of those children. Everybody was just busy sort of ticking the boxes, and now they have a little more room to do it, but still not the national average.
No, and not only that, we have a lack of funding that we can't really afford to give each person a cell phone or the laptop or the iPad that they need in order to do the job well.
So anybody out there that has a company I would like to sponsor, reach out. That would be awesome to reach out to DCYF and see what you can do to help, because it is all about the children. We do need to prevent abuse. We do need to make sure that our future generations are safe and able to move forward in life, to be educated, get a job, have a family, and just keep the cycle going.
Yes. So
this is just absolutely amazing to me. And as we can see, Governor Sununu signed it, so this is really exciting. The official seal of approval of the state of New Hampshire. This is just amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This is, I've never held one, so thank you for letting me touch it. And wow. Now, when are you going to meet with the governor?
Wednesday.
This Wednesday?
Yes.
Oh, and what are you going to do?
So my plan is I get to go up and meet him, talk about my proclamation, get some photos, and then I really do want to talk to him about the issues at hand. I think it's important for all New Hampshire residents to know and be aware of what's going on and to voice our concerns. We need more legislation passed, we need more funding, and we really need to work on making sure that every adult in the state of New Hampshire realizes that they are a mandated reporter. Meaning, if you suspect something or you know something, you are mandated by the state to make that call.
So kind of like the see something, say something, except in child abuse, you're mandated to report that if you have. So it would seem to me that it would be important that teachers be trained in this and have an eye out, since they spend so much time with these children?
That and nonprofits that are working with children, or camps during the week. Girls Inc. is another great example of that. And thinking about that, I knew that I wanted to partner with somebody that was working on that as well. So I actually partnered with the Granite State Children's Alliance, which has their own program called Know and Tell. I have my pin on my sash.
Yep.
I'm a big supporter. They are working towards going to every school district in the state of New Hampshire and having a working program where the faculty can learn how to know the signs of child abuse, what to report, how to report, and then actually working with the schools to ensure that they have the proper policy in place. If you think about it this way, so let's say a teacher suspects abuse or neglect from one of their students. A lot of schools make it so that they actually have to go to the guidance counselor with this information, and then the guidance counselor decides if they're going to call DCYF. So we're playing telephone, we're losing information, we're wasting time. So with this program, they're really teaching the schools not only how to see the signs, but how to make that important phone call without being hesitant or afraid or not knowing the proper steps.
Because in the end, DCYF are the ones that are going to make the final decision. So as a mandated reporter, you are giving that information to the proper officials and letting them deal with it and go forward with investigating.
And another important thing to know is if you're afraid of making a phone call because you're making a phone call about a loved one, you can make an anonymous claim.
Oh, good point.
You do not have to use your name, although if you do use your name, you might end up having more information about how the case goes.
Exactly, and be able to actually forward any new information would be nice instead of being anonymous. So you're working with Kids Inc., you're working with the Know and Tell, you've got your proclamation, you're working in the hospitals, and you're obviously training and getting ready for the Miss New Hampshire, taking singing lessons and practicing with current events and your social impact statement. When do you have time to have fun?
I make time. Ever since I was in high school, when I was a senior in high school, I created the first dance marathon for Children's Miracle Network in the entire Northeast. So as a senior in high school, I was taking dual enrollment college courses. I was training for my licensed nurse assistant course. I was also applying to colleges and competing for Miss New Hampshire while being the chair of this amazing event that I was going to hold at my school. I find that I work better when I'm busy. I love that. I'm always trying to add more onto my plate because I just want to make a big difference.
That is awesome. So when you graduate this week, what happens next?
I am planning on going to Sherman Chiropractic.
Really?
Yes.
Now, what made you decide that? How did you think about chiropractic?
I was originally pre-med, and 2 weeks before I left for college, I actually got into a really bad car accident on my way to compete for a title. And my car was T-boned. I was knocked unconscious. I was alone, very scared. And I ended up waking up. I was fine in that sense, but I did have a concussion. My memory was a little foggy, and I also had a lot of neck and back pain. It was suggested to go to a chiropractor. I had never been to a chiropractor, but I wasn't against it. So I tried it out, and I was just listening to them talk about why chiropractic is the way to go and listening to a more holistic approach. And I was like, wow, this is really interesting, and I like it. And I like the idea that it's not necessarily medication, or shots and vaccines. It's an alternative, more natural way of healing the body.
Exactly, and dealing with how the mechanics of the body, how it works, how it moves, and improving it on its own. What's the word I'd be looking for? Its own natural way of healing.
When you think about it, the nervous system is the most important system of the body, so it makes sense that if we're taking care of the nervous system and making sure that our spine is aligned nicely, that it's going to help our overall health.
Exactly, and the messages are going up to the brain and down to the body parts. I was the same way. I went to chiropractic when I was living in England, and it was the first time I had been exposed to it, and I was dancing then, and it was just amazing on how the proper alignment it can change everything. It changes, brain fog and how your muscles move and how just everything works simultaneously and in coordination.
Yes.
Oh, well, that's awesome. So have you already applied, or you're going to be applying?
I've already applied.
Okay.
It depends on
So
how
we're
Miss
waiting?
New Hampshire goes.
Oh, okay.
So if I were to win Miss New Hampshire, I'd be more than happy to defer a year and spend my year serving our state.
How did I know that?
That's the dream.
And you knew that was going to be my next question. So the butterfly effect, why did you pick that title?
Sure. So a lot of people don't know what the butterfly effect is. But my idea of the butterfly effect when I was reading a quote online was I connected the butterfly effect as butterflies fluttering their wings. And when you think of a butterfly fluttering their wings, it's a small but beautiful action.
Yes.
Well, the butterfly effect explains that when a butterfly flutters their wings, it can cause this huge reaction from across the world, like starting like a tsunami. So it's just that little effect, that one little moment, that 1 second, that one conversation that could change the entire outlook of someone's life. So my goal is to become Miss New Hampshire, and I want to flutter my wings as many times as I can to impact as many people as I can during my year and really change their lives or change their outlook or do something positive.
I love that. And I know you have touched hundreds of children's lives to date, and personal contact. You sing with them, you play with them. I remember you did a collection for Bubbles.
Yes.
And all sorts of different things, but it intrigued me about the bubbles. Tell us about the bubbles.
Sure. So I am known to make fun bags for hospitalized children, and I bring them to different hospitals across the state of New Hampshire along with Boston Children's Hospital. When you think about a child who's in a hospital, they're bored. They want to get out of their bed. Some of them can't get out of their bed. So I wanted to provide a little goodie bag of activities that they could do with their parents or siblings while they're in bed. Another great thing about toys are they don't realize that toys can actually help them with their medical obstacles that they're facing. So for example, a child with respiratory issues blowing bubbles is actually doing a form of physical therapy and helping them breathe and open up their airways, and they just see it as having fun and being a normal kid.
So it's sort of sneaky physical therapy or respiratory therapy.
But the doctors love it, the parents love it, and the kids love it.
Well, I would also think the singing, and I also understand you dress the part. So how many costumes do you have?
Quite a few. Usually I'm Elsa. The kids love Elsa.
I know you as Elsa.
I'll be Elsa tomorrow, actually. I'll be at the Elliott Hospital because it's Children's Spirit Week.
Oh, so you're going to be going there for the whole day, or?
I have a meeting with the Grant State Children's Alliance in the morning, and then I'll head over.
That is awesome. And then Wednesday you have with Governor Sununu.
And then I'm going to be going to different nonprofits throughout the state of New Hampshire that are involved with children and dropping off the proclamation, because I think it's so important that we really spread the message and have as many people talking about it. Let's get the buzz going.
Absolutely.
And maybe we'll try to get on the radio again. We're going to do a lot of different things throughout the month.
Absolutely. And with April coming up, this is the perfect setup to get ready for the month, get everybody on board listening and learning and getting involved.
Yes.
Now tell us, how do we go about getting tickets? How do we find out about the Miss New Hampshire Scholarship Program and just all that general good kind of stuff? So we're ready for the end of April.
So one of the greatest things that we've heard so far about the Miss New Hampshire program is that we'll be awarding over $76,000 of scholarship money at the state level.
$76,000?
That's a lot of money for such a small state.
That's a lot of money.
Yes, and we can't even forget about the fact that for those of you that don't know how the Miss New Hampshire Scholarship Program works, as a local title holder, you win money as well. So we have already won money, and now we're going to Miss New Hampshire to compete to win more scholarship dollars.
Right, and the key word is scholarship, so the money always goes to college.
Yes.
It always goes to education, which is very important. That's why it's truly a scholarship program. It's not a beauty pageant. That was way back in the 50s. This is truly about your social impact, which is also known as your platform, health, being able to speak with people, communications, all of the above. And of course have a talent.
Yes. So if you want more information on tickets, or if you're thinking about competing next year, MissNewHampshire.org is the website that you should be going to. Miss New Hampshire, again, is the last week of April, so April vacation, a perfect time to get teens to go, because if you are heading into your senior year, you will be eligible to compete for Miss New Hampshire, and what a great idea to already win scholarship money before heading into your first semester of college.
It makes a big difference. Every one of the ladies that I've spoken with have been so appreciative of the help that they receive with the scholarship money, whether in your case it pays for your entire education, you're debt-free, or it pays for books or accommodations. It's all a huge, huge help and allows you to focus on your academics, on what you need to do. I can't think of a better opportunity for young ladies, and it does. And I say young ladies because there is the Miss New Hampshire Outstanding Teen, which is where you started.
Yes. So Miss New Hampshire's Outstanding Teen is a little bit different. It's considered the sister program for us, and it's a great way to get you ready for Miss New Hampshire. But just like Miss New Hampshire, they do have a national pageant called Miss America's Outstanding Teen. They have a fitness portion, so we do not have a fitness portion anymore. 2.0 kicked out swimsuit. So if you're a teen, you better start working on your push-ups.
Yes, I remember being in the audience, and when they're doing the fitness routine, there's always the spot where the push-up comes and the whole audience does this. You can hear everybody shift in their seats to see, is that the good push-up? Who's got the best push-up? So it's fun. You don't think there's any interaction, but there is, and so supportive with clapping and just applause, but clapping with the speed of the music or the dance. And it is just a wonderful, wonderful opportunity. Take your daughters, take your sons. It's a great way to introduce young ladies to the real world, how to get scholarship money for college, how to interact with people, and again, most importantly, have a social impact, just like Jana's here. I mean, this is just amazing. I'm so excited. I'm the first to see it.
Yes, you are. I'm very excited, and the next month is going to fly by.
It is going to fly by.
But I'm so excited to compete for my dream. Miss America is the leading scholarship program for women in the country. So it's just an amazing thing to be a part of the sisterhood.
It absolutely is, and it continues for life.
Yes, it does.
That's the really nice thing, because the ladies that have won before come back. They're married, they have children, and they have great careers, and it's wonderful to have them come back and speak about that. Great group of judges. I judge on the local level every once in a while, so I haven't done the state one. I think that's because I'm too close to too many people.
Yes.
But I want to thank you so much for everything that you do, every child that you touch and you reach out to. It's genuine, it's love, and I just think it's excellent, because my motto is one voice can make a difference, and I think that your butterfly effect, one little butterfly fluttering of the wing, can just go across the world, and why not start in New Hampshire?
Yes.
So thank you so much, and congratulations on getting a proclamation for the month. That was all yours.
Thank you so much.
And I hope you'll come back after you talk to Governor Sununu somewhere in April. Let's talk some more about child abuse.
Sounds great.
Thank you, Jana, for coming.
Thank you.
And thank you for listening on Chit Chatting with Jocelyn, and we will see you at another time.
The preceding program was provided by an independent producer solely responsible for its content. The opinions expressed do not necessarily represent the views of this station, its staff, board of directors, or underwriters.